Yeah, I think people, some of you have come very good. Admit all. Prajwal, Chavan, Sachin, Gaikwad, everybody, please come in. Yeah. Sachin, Gaikwad. Sachin, Gaikwad. Yeah, okay. Shall we start? Good. Now we will move on to the next question. The question is work-life balance. Yeah. Super. Now I will talk to you about this one. That is the concept of financial inclusion. I will talk to you first, then you listen to that and you tell me from whatever way you consider it good. Financial inclusion means extending banking and insurance services to the poorest of the poor at cheaper rates. Providing banking services to the people at cheaper rates. For achieving this, government is opening more of regional rural bank branches in rural areas, and RRBs are appointing business correspondents, and the RRBs, apart from that, say APY, that is Atal Pension Yojana, PMSSBY, PMJJBY, these insurance schemes are given to the customers. And apart from say this, small finance banks are being opened, payment banks are being opened, so that financial is achieved fully. So this is my point regarding what is that financial inclusion. Now, yeah, now tell me what is your take. Please speak out, Sachin. What is financial inclusion and how the government is aiming to achieve it quickly?
Financial inclusion is that the extending the banking services and the LIC services to the poorest one, that is priority sectors. The government is carrying out this by providing the in the RRBs in the rural areas, as well as they are providing the business correspondence like Atal Pension Yojanas and various schemes to the poorest one. And like the small finance banks and the payment banks are also initiating by the government in order to for the financial inclusion.
Super. Yeah, remembered nicely. Now, Shubham, can you speak out
Yes,
quickly?
yes, sir. Financial inclusion is extending the banking and insurance service to poor at a very less cost. The governments are trying to implement financial inclusion by the jam trinity, that is Jandhan account, Aadhaar, and mobile. So that
I forgot to add about PMJDY. PMJDY.
yes, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, Aadhaar and mobile network, and appointing banking correspondents in rural areas where branches cannot be open.
Good. Very good. We'll go to Sambasiva quickly.
So, according to central government, is planning to increase savings to the rural areas by keeping regional rural banks in every part of rural areas, and also it increases the digital banking also by keeping so many programs of Atal Pension Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, like that, sir.
Okay, Pallavi.
Sir, we can aim financial inclusion by there is one scheme of government, Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, where zero balance account and accidental insurance coverage is provided for poor people.
Super. And I told you other points you have forgotten, like bank correspondence, then opening of small finance banks, etc. You can add. Remember to add them. Shiva.
Yes.
Shiva.
Yes, sir. Financial inclusion, we can give the banking services to that all customers in remote areas also. So by giving in Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan accounts, like a small savings schemes like APY Atal Pension Yojana and uh, uh, Pradhan Mantri Jeevan Bima Yojana. So with the help of that, we can financially support to that area, sir.
Actually, APY is not small savings. Small savings only that Public Provident Fund, Senior Citizen Deposit Schemes, recurring deposit, they are called as what?
Small savings.
Small savings. This is an insurance, this is a pension scheme. Okay,
Okay. Yes.
good. Anybody would like to try speaking on this issue?
Sure, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Sir,
yeah, try. Suraj.
hello, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sorry, carry on.
Financial inclusion is expanding. Including is expanding the banking services to the hook and corner of a nation, by which the poor people are being benefited, and they're also getting being insured, and they're being developed, sir.
Okay. Yeah, next, Prajwal.
Even after 17 years of independence, our country, like developing country like India, is struggling to provide basic banking facilities to the rural world.
Don't tell this negative word. Please don't tell this.
Yes.
Don't tell we are struggling. 100% we are struggling, but don't tell such negative things in meetings because they may question us. Come on.
Okay.
Next.
Um,
Now start.
India
Start again from the beginning. Financial inclusion.
Financial inclusion is a term in which we are trying to provide banking facilities to the equal banking facilities at cheaper rate to the our means we want to drive our rural economy, and it helps in direct benefit transfer like DBT scheme, where we can assure that benefits are get directly in the account of that particular member who is beneficiary, and it is also equally important for the penetration in the informal sector as well, where banking facility are lagging.
Good. Thank you. Now we'll go on to the next question. I will go to the, for a change, I am taking up a material known as 200 abbreviations because you said interview may start early. I'm going on fast. I'm speeding up. So let me tell you about that. At the end of it, I will ask you to explain about it wherever required. The term AD means authorized dealer. All these things I am reading out. Achha, I think I can share it now. I can share it. Why I'm not sharing it?
Yes, sir.
I can share this. Where is that one? Yeah,
On
this
Telegram,
one.
sir.
Yeah, I'm giving. Yeah.
Okay.
See, I am reading out only the important things. Number 2 point, AD means authorized dealer. Authorized dealer means the banks, like State Bank, Indian Bank, Punjab National Bank, they are authorized by Reserve Bank of India to deal with foreign exchange. Note down the important words, have a notebook and note down the important words I'm telling about them. Authorized dealers are people appointed by RBI. And they in turn authorize branches. They are known as authorized branches. Asian Development Bank, ADB, its headquarters is in, where is headquarters? ADB?
Manila, sir, Philippines.
Manila, Philippines.
Philippines.
Manila, correct. Good. Good. You told correctly. Manila is the answer. 1 minute. Where is it? Yeah. Manila is the place. Where is it? I am not able to. Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah. Philippines. Then next one is not very important. Leave it. Next one is important. AGM. AGM means annual general meeting. This concept comes in the case of limited companies, like big companies like Tata's, Infosys, TCS, Wipro. When they conduct annual general meeting, they will take important decisions like declaration of dividend, etc. Next, we will go to ASSOCHAM. I think 2-3 points below that. ASSOCHAM. Please read that. Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India.
Sir,
Some,
Jishnu is waiting in the room.
yes, yesterday I think we discussed about this. Pardon?
Sir, please allow the Jishnu, admit Jishnu. He is waiting.
Somebody is waiting. Oh. I'm not.
Sir, just a request, sir. I'm Rahul, sir. I think you started the meeting at 7:30. Like I just thought a meeting started at 8:30, and also I just it's my mistake that I didn't check Telegram. Like meanwhile I was at the other work. So can you just mention what you have discussed in the group also?
You
sir?
will
Like
get you will get it in our video, YouTube video.
Okay, sir.
You will get it in your YouTube video, no problem. So now,
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, ASSOCHAM, Associated Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Acha, in bank interviews, many times they ask you to explain the expansion of that. Sometimes they will ask you to tell about that also. Very rarely. Next one is ATM, automated teller machine. This is very important, about which we will discuss in detail later on. Next is BOI, Bank of India, BOP, balance of payments. Balance of payments means what? Every country exports goods to other countries, imports goods from other countries. When the difference between the exports and imports is the balance of payments, Sometimes it may be positive, where the exports are more, where the imports are less. When the exports are more and imports are less, I'm not telling correctly. Export more, import less, positive. Export high, export
Lesser.
low, export less, import high. It is deficit balance of payments, less amount. Then next one, BSR, is basic statistical return, which banks are supposed to submit so that Reserve Bank can compile statistics. CAG is comptroller. It should be COMPTORLLER, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Who is the present Comptroller Auditor General of India? Anybody knows? Who is the present Comptroller and Auditor General of India? Sometimes.
Girish Chandra Murmu.
Correct. Good. That's good. I am happy. Good. Next one, we will go to CC, means cash credit. Cash credit means the traders or company people are allowed to draw based on the security they have given to us in the form of finished goods or work in process. Then next one is certificate of deposit. Please write down in your notebook and search about it and try to know more ideas. Certificate of deposit. It is issued by banks where we will receive a fraction of amount. At the end of the period, we will pay a round sum. For example, we will receive 91 lakhs, and the end we will pay 100 lakhs, something like that. Okay. Next one, CII, Confederation of Indian Industries. Please note down commercial paper. You have to know about this. CP. Please पढ़ लीजिए. Google में search करके पढ़ लीजिए. See commercial paper. These are issued by companies for raising funds. Next point, CPI, Consumer Price Index. ये क्या है? Consumer Price Index, when it goes up, it means cost of commodities are going up. And when the consumer price index come down, the price of commodities are less. But I am told, I read in the online that tomato is being sold at 100 rupees now in India.
Yeah, sir. True, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. True, sir.
100.
130.
130. Acha. Next
Yeah.
point, page number 2, point number 3, CRAR. Please write down. You please go through our Google and prepare for this. Write down all the points I am telling, because I'm not able to explain correctly. You read tomorrow we may study also. CRR is cash reserve ratio, about which I explained yesterday. The balance to be kept by scheduled commercial banks in their current account with the Reserve Bank of India. It is percentage, 4% of their net demand and time liabilities. Demand liabilities are current account and savings account because they are repayable on demand. Time liabilities are fixed deposits and recurring deposits where they are repayable after a specified period. Next one, CSIR, Council of Scientific Industrial Research, no need to study. CVC, Central Vigilance Commission, please note down, find out who is the chairman of CVC. Then DBOD, Department of Banking Operations Development, it is there in RBI. Next comes DD, demand draft. This is a very favorite question for bank interview people. What is the difference between demand draft and check? A check is drawn by the account holder on his branch. A demand draft is issued by a bank branch on another bank branch for sums received. Somebody wants to buy a demand draft, pays money along with commission, and he takes a demand draft from Chennai on Bombay. That is demand draft. A demand draft is always issued favoring order, ORDER. A check can be issued bearer or order. A check may be returned unpaid for want of funds. A demand draft cannot be returned for want of funds. These are some of the differences between demand draft and check. In some interviews, they do ask simple questions like, say, what is a check? What are the different parts of a check? Can anyone answer this question? Simple question. Subham Gupta, can you answer this? What are the different parts of check? You don't know. Sachin, can you answer different parts of a check?
Different parts means what you are expecting?
No, Sachin, can you answer this?
Yes, sir. Sir, what are you expecting? The different parts of check means?
You have to say date, then name of the bank on which it has been drawn, the person who is signing, the person who is signing, and also the person in whose favor the check is issued. The person who issues the check is known as a drawer. The bank on which it has been drawn is known as drawee bank. The person in whose favor it has been issued is known as payee. It can be issued bearer or order. Then there will be date on the check. That date should be within 3 months from the date on which the check is presented. When the check is presented beyond 3 months, it becomes a stale check. When the check is dated, today's date is 23rd November. If a check is dated 22 November or prior to that, it is known as antedated. If a check is dated today, 24/11, 25/11 and all, it is known as
Post-dated.
It is known as post-dated. 1 minute. My battery is coming down. Yeah. Now I have inserted it. It will not go. Yeah. I was telling you about check. Check is a different parts of a check. I was telling antedated, post-dated, stale dated, stale, same date. No problem. A check is valid if you are giving date as 22nd August 2021. It cannot be paid today because it is more than 3 months. So these are important questions relating to check. Is anybody getting some questions relating to check in your mind? They can also ask you about what is a Negotiable Instruments Act 1881, what is a negotiable instrument? A negotiable instrument is one which can be passed on to another person by endorsement and delivery, by signing on the back and handing over. So this is negotiable. Any other questions you are getting in mind?
Sir, there is MICR code now. There is a code of MICR.
Yeah, you have to tell about all those things. Check number, MICR code, then IF on the face of the check, name of the branch, IFSC code, all these details. You have to tell that. Good. Very good. Any other?
Staging means after 3 months it will be staged.
After 3 months, it is stale check.
Okay. It will be
Sir,
not,
there is something system now, sir. MICR and CTS. I am not getting the MICR and CTS.
Yeah, I will tell you.
check.
MICR means at the bottom of the check, you will have a 9-digit code.
Yes.
That will indicate the branch on which the check has been drawn. IFSC code is a code number of the bank branch, which is used for remittance of money from one branch to one bank to another bank, and also from one country to another country. Yeah, that is IFSC code. MICR code has 9 digits. IFSC code has 11 digits. You please go through the IFSC code of your branch. In my branch, it is given as IDIB 0000E013. So totally 11 digits should be there. Could you follow?
Yes, sir.
Any other doubts regarding checks? Please ask. No questions? Yeah.
Sir, what about clearing settlement, clearing?
Yeah, I will tell you. Clearing is a process where checks drawn on other banks are presented by branches through clearing. Nowadays, the physical movement of checks is not there. Only the electronic image of the check, front portion, back portion, that is taken, and it is sent through negative image is sent through electronic means to Reserve Bank of India, and Reserve Bank of India in turn sends it to different bank branches, and the different bank branch service branch will send it to the particular branch. The particular branch will go through the electronic image and find out whether it is a not altered check, whether everything is okay, and then they will pass the check. Here, you must know about one concept, please note down, known as positive pay system. Can anyone tell me what is positive pay system?
Sir, it is validating messages coming in our mobile number if the check is more than 2 lakhs or 1 lakh, I think.
No. If a check is issued by one person over 50,000, I am supposed to give details of check number, date, favoring whom, amount, and all that to my bank branch through email or through internet or through SMS, and my bank branch will verify those details before passing the check above 50,000. Initially, they started with 2 lakhs, but now I think many banks ask for 50,000. Reserve Bank scheme is 50,000. Why it is done? In order to avoid frauds. Some people alter the checks, and when it is presented through electronic clearing, it is not understandable properly. When the checks are being sent by one branch, one bank to another bank and all that, at the Reserve Bank of India, a final tally will be made. Indian Bank has presented how many worth of checks. Indian Bank is getting how many worth of checks. Imagine Indian Bank has presented today for 50 crore worth of checks for collection. On the contrary, Indian Bank has received checks drawn on it, 40 crore of check. Then the Indian Bank account will be credited with 10 crore extra, because Indian Bank has presented it will be shown as a separate entry. Indian Bank presenting checks to Indian Bank's account, 50 crore will be credited. Indian Bank checks being presented, 40 crore, Indian Bank account will be debited with 40 crore in the clearing house. Clearing house is conducted nowadays only in Reserve Bank of India, and it is all done through electronic. That is why even though you are presenting a check in Chennai, a check drawn on Delhi, it is cleared within 2 or 3 days. Okay, is it okay? Prior to that, the checks have to go, physical check has to go to Delhi, and then we have to collect it. That was known as inward bills for collection. That was taking more than 10 days. Okay, very nice. Any other doubts regarding check? No. CRR, cash reserve ratio, I have already discussed this. Now CBC over, DBOD over. We were discussing DD, sorry. This one, DICGC, very good, important question. Please note down. You have to study more about this, more than what I am telling you. DICGC, Deposit Insurance and Credit Corporation of India, headquarters in Mumbai. Chairman is MD Patro, Deputy Governor. DICGC is a subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. To DICGC, all the scheduled commercial banks and also small finance banks, they remit 12 paise per rupees 1000 per year. Please note down, 12 paise per rupees 1000 per year to DICGC based on their total deposits. This money is paid by the bank, not by the depositor. And why it is done? And in case the bank is going on liquidation, recently, say some cooperative banks went on liquidation, Maharashtra. In that case, every depositor is paid up to rupees 5 lakhs. Previously, it was 1 lakh. After Nirmala Sitharaman coming in 2020, it has been revised to 5 lakh. So this DICGC cover is not there for NBFC deposit, non-banking finance company deposits. What is a non-banking finance company? A company which normally makes advances on, say, for purchase of vehicles, houses, etc. And when they take deposits, they can take only time deposits, not demand deposits. An NBFC cannot open demand deposit account. Demand deposit means savings bank current account. And whereas they can open fixed deposit. They are not members of the payment system. Payment system means clearing house. So they don't have UPI number and all, unique payment identification number. So that is DICGC. Please read a lot about this. You also have in our Bankers Adda book. Otherwise, simply search in our google.com, know about it. Next one, DRI, differential rate of interest scheme. Now it is 4%. 4%. For people who are living below poverty line, for them, banks are giving interest at only 4%. Cobblers, rickshaw pullers, for them and all. Okay. Next is ECB, external commercial borrowing, is a borrowing made by an Indian company from a person living abroad. For example, Reliance may borrow from Germany, Japan. So that is known as external commercial borrowing. ECB, European Central Bank. ECGC, all of you note down, this is important. ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation, headquarters Mumbai. Chairman's name, please find out whether it is correct. Sendil Kumar or Sendil Nadal. And 10 minutes time is there. Anytime it will stop. Yeah. And Export Credit Guarantee Corporation extends policies to exporters Exports gives guarantee to bankers for giving export advances. Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. And recently, more than 2 or 3 people have got selected through me who appeared for ECG CPO interview. And among them, one was a chartered accountant also. Yeah. Next one is ECS, Electronic Clearing Scheme. Electronic Clearing Scheme is, say, no checks are presented. See, for example, I have taken Airtel phone. I am giving electronic clearing instructions whereby every month my bill amount will be debited to my account. That is known as electronic clearing scheme. Then EEFC, Exchange Earners Foreign Currency, EPF, Employees Provident Fund, Exim Bank, Export Import Bank of India. Please get to know something more about it if time permits. FCCB, Foreign Currency Convertible Bond. FCNRB, Foreign Currency Non-Resident Banks. So people who are living away from our country, the citizens of our country who are living abroad for more than 120 days nowadays in a financial year, they are classified as what? Non-resident. And when one stays abroad continuously for 3 years, then he is called a non-resident. I will not be a non-resident because I have been coming to foreign from 2007. I used to stay for 6 months, go back to India. So I am not a non-resident, I am a resident only. The problem is, if you are a non-resident, whatever income you are getting, it is taxable. Interest income, etc. is taxable. Okay. FCNRA, foreign currency non-resident account. FDI, foreign direct investment. Fair. Achha, now who is there? Shubham Gupta, can you read this FDI?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please read.
FDI, Foreign Direct Investment.
Okay, continue.
FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act.
Yeah, I will tell about this. Foreign Exchange Management Act is the act which tells up to what amount we can remit abroad without the permission from Reserve Bank of India. And certain rules like this, up to what amount we can bring back into India without permission of Reserve Bank of India. All those conditions are given. For example, when I traveled from abroad, I was permitted to take 3,000 US dollars per individual. So all these details are given in Foreign Exchange Management Act. There is no need for us to go and ask for permission from Reserve Bank of India. Continue, Shubham.
FI, Financial Institution.
Continue.
FICCI, Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industries.
It's a representative association of owners of companies. Continue.
FII, Foreign Institutional Investors.
Okay. Next. Next is not required. That is also
Okay.
that is also not required. Come to
FPI.
Come to GDP.
GDP, Gross Domestic Product.
Please note down. Please go through Google and try to know. I may not be able to tell you clearly. Please go through that, and I ask you, you must be able to tell me tomorrow. Read next.
GDR, Global Depository Receipt.
Please note about this also. You may have to tell me. Next is 1 minute.
GIC, General Insurance Corporation.
General Insurance Corporation, you know, like India, you have LIC, private sector companies. Then you have this United India Insurance, four public sector general insurance companies besides private sector companies. And there is one more corporation known as GIC. I can't tell you full details. All these insurance is covered by or monitored by IRDAI, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, Chairman Subhash Chandra Kuntia, Hyderabad. Please get to know that. Okay. Please read about that. Next question. You can see GSEC. What is GSEC?
Government Securities.
Okay. Next.
HDFC, Housing Development Finance Corporation.
HUDCO. HUDCO.
HUDCO, Housing and Urban Development Corporation.
Okay. Next, IDBI.
1 minute. Okay, sir. IDBI, Industrial Development Bank of India.
And this one also. ICRA.
Investment Information and Credit Rating Agencies.
Good. Then IDFC.
Infrastructure Development Finance Company Limited.
Okay. IDR.
Indian Depository Receipt.
Okay. Come to IPO.
IPO, Initial Public Offering.
Initial public offering comes in the case of limited companies raising money from the market, like I was telling you about Paytm. So that is offer is known as initial public offering. Then read IVP.
Sorry, sir. IBP.
IVP.
IVP, Indra Vikas Patra.
Then next.
KCC, Kisan Credit Card.
So this is very, very important, not for, of course, Federal Bank. Kisan Credit Card is a card issued to farmers by banks, and it is valid for 5 years. And the limit is fixed based on the area of the land over which cultivation is to be made and the crop that is being brought out. And the Kisans can use it for buying seeds, fertilizers, manures, and also for labor, and repay the fund after the harvest and sales. And again, next year, he can use that money. So that is known as Kisan Credit Card. This is very important, KYC.
Know your customer.
We will study about it detail. You also come prepared. Okay, very good. What is LBS?
Lead Bank Scheme.
Very good. Please study about that. Come and tell me tomorrow. What is MPBF?
Mutual Benefit Financial Company.
No.
Sorry. MPBF, Maximum Permissible Bank Finance.
This is, this comes in the case of working capital assessment. Okay. MSME.
Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises.
You have to know about this because it comes under priority sector. Next, NABARD.
National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development.
Govinda Raju Chintala is the chairman, headquarters in Mumbai. It is supervising the functioning of cooperative banks and also RRBs. Okay, good. Read NASCOM.
Sorry, sir, it's not visible.
Next one, second page.
Okay, yes, sir. National Association of Software and Service Companies.
All these companies like Infosys, TCS, they are all members. Okay. NGO, Niche.
Non-government organization.
NHB.
National Housing Bank.
NPA.
Non-performing asset.
Please note down. We have to discuss about this tomorrow detail. Yeah. Now NRI.
Non-resident India.
Okay. OD.
Overdraft.
Okay. PDO. Public Debt Office.
Public Debt Office.
Okay. This one. PIO.
Sir, can you please?
Next page. PIO.
Persons of Indian origin.
That is people who are living abroad, when they are of Indian origin, they are known as PIO, persons of Indian origin. Next one.
So what is Universal Bank?
Universal Bank is a bank where everything is done. That is making payment, receiving payment, making advances, receiving advances, issuing debit card, credit card, all functions karna wala. Bank assurance business, providing locker service and wealth management services, sab kuch karne wala banks. Federal Bank is a universal bank. Federal Bank is a universal bank. PMJDY, Pradhan Mantri Jan
Dhan Yojana.
Very good. Now what else is required?
The time completed.
Pardon?
Time less than 1 minute.
Not clear. Then P